Hey, what's up, viewers, or at least people that I know that watch these videos? This is Luke Rizzo, and today I'm going to be reviewing The Flash. I was able to see it 2 nights ago, and I just went to see it early because I had the opportunity to, and I've been pretty excited about this movie for the past few weeks, and also months because of how it involves DC Comics and DC Films and DC Studios and the future of that company and the upcoming projects they're going to have. So today's just going to go over the basic stuff. It'll be spoiler filled. It'll go over the basic plot and cameos, stuff that was in the film, and my thoughts on it and how this affects the future of DC overall. Right, so off the bat, this story, The Flash, is the first film adaptation of the character The Flash from DC Comics, and it actually adapts the 2011, I believe, is when it came out. It's a story that came out early 2010s called Flashpoint. It involves Barry Allen, The Flash, time traveling and going back in time to save his mother that was murdered, and it affecting the whole DC universe as a result of that. So it was a very well received comic, very popular one, and in the comics itself, it actually helped reboot the continuity for the company and just restart stuff so that they could bring in new readers and stuff for the past 10 years. And so that's basically what this movie is, with some minor differences and also big changes. But overall, it is pretty similar, but different in ways. And it also does reset DC in terms of film and their continuity going forward after it. And my experience with the book, I got it about 2 years ago for Christmas. My mom got me this big omnibus version of it, which I didn't intentionally want, but she got it for me anyway. And it's actually got a lot of characters that are going to be in future projects, so I'm really proud that I have it, and I really like it, and I'm going to be rereading it soon. So thank you, Mom. But overall, it's a very, very, very good story. Brilliantly drawn, brilliantly written. Very simple though too, despite all the time travel and continuity stuff that you have to pay attention to. Just overall a very good story. Kind of weird to adapt into a first movie, but it works, and I think because of the popularity of it, that's what they wanted to do. Just running off the success of it, that's what they decided to do. So yes, resetting the DCU, and that's what this film ultimately does. So no longer will the films be a part of the DCEU as the last 10 years have been, starting with Man of Steel. Even though it wasn't officially known as DCEU, I believe, but that's what people mainly called it. From now on, it'll be DCU, like MCU, and it'll be just resetting things, keeping actors, throwing out actors, rebooting some stuff, retelling stories, and just bringing in fresh faces and new audience members to watch the films and buy tickets. Now, the story of it is, like I said, very similar to the book, but there are differences in terms of the time Barry Allen is in and his time as the Flash and his experience as it, and also kind of how his decision to save his mother back in time changes the whole universe. First of all, mainly being the presence of Batman in the movie. There are multiple Batman in this. There's Ben Affleck, and then there's Michael Keaton, of course. But in the book, it was actually just Batman and then his father as Batman in the revised timeline when he changed things, making so that his parents weren't killed and that Bruce was killed in Crime Alley on the night that Batman was born. So there's that. Also, Aquaman and Wonder Woman in the book are at war, like Atlanta and Themyscira are at war with each other, and the world is basically ending. Cyborg is one of the only few heroes left. Superman is very scrawny and very unhealthy, as he's been kept underground in a facility and not been exposed to sunlight. Similar thing happens with Supergirl. Just the only difference is that it's Supergirl and not Superman in the film. But it's very similar, though, very similar arcs, like in the book, but just different character. So, other than that, it's the same thing. I mean, the story plays out differently in that Barry knows that he did it in the film, that he did change things right off the bat. In the book, it's not revealed until the very end that he went back and everything changed because of what he did. So there's that difference, and also the presence of two Barry Allens is also in the film and not in the book. So there's differences like that, and then also the final act of the story in the film is different, and the execution of it. Same with villains per se. Zod is not in the book, but he is in the film. Dark Flash is in the film, but not in the book, and I'm not even sure if it's technically an adaptation of Black Flash or Dark Flash. I think his name is Dark Flash when you look at like descriptions for the film, and I know there's a character I think of that, but then there's other versions and stuff, but I'm not as familiar with Flash as other people are, but so villains are different too, and just minor differences like that, and also just the ending is similar as well, with him resetting the timeline, but then also changing things still, and not everything goes back to the way it was in the end. But ultimately, it does deal with Barry learning his lesson that he needs to let his mother go and that he can't save her. And it's emotional. It was really good. I was not sure how to really handle the movie leading up to it because of the controversy with Ezra Miller and stuff like that. And ultimately, if you want my opinion on that, I do think that he should be replaced. I don't think he should continue to play the Flash, but I didn't let that ruin my experience with the movie. I still wanted to go in and watch it because I'm a DC fan, I'm a comic fan, and I really enjoyed it. And I was really involved in the story, and I had a really great time. It was very fun to watch. I'm definitely gonna get it on DVD or Blu-ray or something. So overall, it's a great movie, a great adaptation, and I think it landed pretty well. I know other people will disagree, but I do highly recommend it if you are a DC fan or a superhero fan or comic fan, anything like that. The other thing I wanted to touch on was its connections to Justice League, specifically the director's cut, the 4-hour one that everybody likes, and that's not the crappy theatrical version that came out before then. And there's a whole lot of drama with that, and the studio reshooting the film after receptions to the previous films and stuff like that it's all just bullshit, really. So it's just a lot of that led to the director's cut being hidden and then released, and people really enjoying that and wishing that would be the actual canon version. And people have said it's not, but then there's facts in the Flash that imply that it is. Like there's one scene with Barry and Iris West, his love interest, where she says that she thinks that well, it turns out actually that I didn't know until I watched the film, was that they were actually friends in college or something. So they haven't just met for the first time, so they've kind of known each other but drifted apart. And it was really interesting to see that, and then also have her say that she thinks that she saw him before they meet up in the film, and when I heard that, my mind immediately went to the scene she's in Justice League in the director's cut, where Barry saves her from a car crash, and that's not in the theatrical cut, the canon one, supposedly. So the fact that they had that in the movie and they spend some time talking about it, it's interesting, because the filmmakers have acknowledged the director's cut besides the theatrical one, and have said that they took a lot from that film and really it influenced them and stuff like that, but it's not been made official or outright said that it's canon or anything. But there's like details in there that like make it seem like it is, and it's interesting. I know it probably won't ever be 100% confirmed or anything, but it still is nice that they acknowledge it. And then Also, cameos, a lot of cameos in this. There's Nicolas Cage, Superman. There's Christopher Reeves, Superman. Helen Slater, I think is her name. That's Supergirl from his films. There's George Reeves, Superman. Adam West, Batman. There's Teddy Sears, Flash, or Zoom, but he's Jay Garrick. He's from the CW Flash show. There's who else? Was there anybody else? It's in like the ending cameo thing where they show the different worlds. That's really all that there is in that. And then there's also Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman in the beginning, and then Aquaman at the end in the post-credit scene. Jeremy Irons is there in there as Alfred for a little bit, and then at the very end there's George Clooney, of course, as Batman in the revised timeline. But it's not explained at all. They just put him in there kind of as a gag and just so that the timeline is still kind of messed up. But I don't know how that really works though, and if they're going to acknowledge that in the future, since they are doing a follow-up Batman movie, The Brave and the Bold, and if it's just going to be a new actor, even though they have said it will be, or just I don't know how they're going to just say like Barry's stuck in a separate timeline with George Clooney, or the DCU is a separate reset thing after he reset everything, or something like that. It's just a lot of unanswered questions that they'll probably answer in some way eventually, but for now it's just kind of up in the air. And I think that's intentional, but it's also just kind of, they're left for us to put things together, I guess. All right, so the future of DC after this movie is Blue Beetle, Aquaman 2, and then Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. So following The Flash, it's a universe reset, and in August we're going to get Blue Beetle, which will be its own solo thing. He is a part of the Teen Titans, so maybe that'll hopefully set that up. And then we'll have Aquaman 2, which will maybe continue with the character unless Jason Momoa decides to play Lobo or somebody else. And we still don't have any clarification on what universe Barry is in after The Flash, or if this new DCU we're getting is a separate thing from what we've seen, or it's where Barry is already at the end of the film, or anything like that. It's just kind of left on our own to piece together, but that's fine. Then after that, next year, we will get 2 things within the main universe of the DCU, Creature Commandos and Waller. Those will be TV shows, one animated, one live action, and those will be very interesting to see and lead into Superman Legacy in 2025. And then after that, we'll get The Authority and all the other things that we have coming up. So again, overall, I like The Flash. I think it was a really good movie. And again, it's regardless of what the feelings I have on what happened with previous movies and the management and stuff. It's overall, I've liked what DC's been doing. There were some missteps and stuff, but hopefully now that everything is reset, they can put things back together and, make it a cohesive world and something that I want to enjoy and watch, because that's really all it is. I've been reading my old DC books, I've been buying new ones and just reading a lot more comics and really understanding, the kind of culture and stuff that a lot of people like about these stories, and I want that to be made possible. And same thing like I want with Marvel. I want both DC and Marvel to reach their full potential and to be the very best that I know that they can, and I just want to have fun ultimately. So I think that that is what both DC and Marvel are going towards, and after The Flash, I really did like it. I think that it's going in the right direction, and they just need to take care of themselves and keep making good stuff, and they'll be all right. So again, thank you guys so much for watching this review. I'll have more videos out soon. I've just been pretty busy, but I'll have The Gang Part 3 out soon and some other videos hopefully, and that'll be really it. So thank you guys so much.